respecting the risk and understanding that comes with it. With my advice is only use 30% of your equity. Okay. So when you have these like funded accounts, like, yeah, I got $100,000 funded account. You want to get out there and you want to maximize that $100,000 leverage they're giving you. You don't have $100,000 really, but they're giving you the buying power or selling power of 100,000 equivalent. I'm telling you, only use 30,000 of it. You will not blow your account. You won't wreck it. You won't get, you know, drunk with the idea of making big money. You want to make consistent money. And if it works out that you're only making $500 a week, fuck anybody else that has a problem with that. Who gives a shit? That's $500. That's bread going in your pocket. That's grocery money. That's paying your car note or a utility bill. Fuck everybody else's opinion. There's too much of that shit going on to getting you wrapped up and caught up in all this keeping up with Joneses shit. You're here and you're in this industry to do one thing: make money. That's it. It's not a fucking hobby. It's not fantasy football. It's not this team against that team. It's you trying to. When you respect the risk and you're only trading with 30% of your equity, the idea is, if you're new, and I've seen so many times, like I fell victim to this too. When I first started really wanting to make big money, I was like, I'm undercapitalized. Like, I don't have enough. And I took bigger risks than I should have, thinking I'm going to shorten the span of time that required to get to a bigger account. Because if I get a bigger account, I can make big money consistently. And it doesn't work that way. The worst thing that can happen is if you trade with a small account and you risk really big and you win, you're like, oh, I'm going to do that again. And if you get lucky there, what are you going to do the next time? Even bigger. Well, that's when the inevitable happens. You have that losing trade that becomes a losing series of trades, because now you're regretful that you did what you did. You knew damn well you shouldn't have done that. So you're going to try to hurt. Just let me get back to what I had. I made $10,000 in the last 3 trades combined, and I just took it all down and down, only up $7,100. I shouldn't have done that. Let me try to just get it back to 10,000. How many times have you been in that situation? Maybe not 10,000, but you've been there, right? You've had an equity high. You knew damn well you should have stopped. You got through there. You took a trip through hell, and you got out before the devil knew you were there. And you just decided to go back in there one more fucking time. And it burned your ass. And now you can't stomach the idea that you did it. You just want to fix it. What happens if you did that one more time and you fix it? It's going to reassure what you did was the right thing, and it's the wrong thing. You need to say, okay, my impulsive nature, my weaknesses, my frailty as a human being is saying I should go back in and fix that. Your trader and the analyst need to have a conversation internally and say, okay, what's the probabilities of me getting back to that equity high? What's the probabilities of me losing more? What benefit is there for me to risk more when I'm still up like I am? So the analyst talks common sense into the trader. And the trader, if it's not being a gambler, because there's 3 people in every one of us in trading: the analyst, the trader, and the gambler. The gambler is going to be the person that's going to look at somebody else's results and say, I can do better than that. Over leverage in a simulator account without a stop loss, just to say they can do something. Impulsive. Look at this, look at that. But hide the trade so that way you don't see it, because if it fails, you don't get to know it. He did it or she did it. You need to be responsible with yourself and know that I'm feeling impulsive. I'm feeling reckless. And I'm allowing my character flaws and personality disorders to impact my decisions about making money or preserving capital. And preserving capital is the number one rule in this business. Because if you don't have capital, you can't do shit. No money makes no money. It's going to be the same as a demo. You can push a button and see a result, but you can't pay your groceries with that. It's going to have to come from real money. So trading with 30% of your equity ensures that you're never over leveraging. And if you can't make money with 30,000, now I'm going to say this, okay? I was going to do it in the live discussions with Corps because we're planning something in January. I'm going to say this now, so that way it's out of my system, and I don't think it's venomous, okay? But He made a remark the other day. I was in his live stream. He was talking about somebody saying a $50,000 account or whatever. He doesn't believe anyone can make money with that. I disagree, and I may have misheard what he was referring to. But for anyone that thinks that they have to have 100,000 or more for leveraging to make money, to me, that is unfortunate, because you can make money with 10,000. Okay, you can make money with 15,000. You can make money with 25,000. You don't need 50,000. You don't need that. And I want you to listen to how I'm going to close this session. We're not there yet, but I'm going to try to give you an idea of going forward into 2023 to keep it sober for you. But when you're only losing a very small fractional part of your total equity, of the 30% of your total equity. So if you're looking at your account, it's 100,000 leverage that you can use in your funded account. Trade like you have a $30,000 account, and stop worrying about measuring up. Okay, I guarantee you, all of you simply want to be able to go onto social media, and you're fucking smiling right now because you know you want to be able to say, look what I just took out of my funded account. You want that big fat 70,000 like the other young man did a couple months ago. That was in my fold. Got up on a leaderboard in FTML. All of you want to do that or better now. Don't do that. That's not what you should be doing. You're not out here trying to compete with other people. You're trying to make fucking money. That's it. Everybody blows their account because they're trying to do bigger than they're supposed to be, trying to reach beyond their means, do Olympic feats. Fuck that. There's a lot of you that are really sober-minded about it. And you're like, there's no way I would even do a Robbins Cup. I would never do a trading competition, because you know that your personal frailties would creep in, and the competition aspect would cloud your mind and your decision making, and you'd blow up. You'd try to overperform, take bigger risks than you're supposed to, and you crash and burn. And that's exactly what happens. That's why I love watching it every year. Every single year, I screen capture every single day. Every single day. And I study who's coming up, who's coming down. And I think it's an amazing study. You should do it too. You can see how they're hugely over leveraging their positions. And when they make money, they're really coming up a lot. There was a guy, Kevin Stufflebeam, last year. He went up to like 1,300%, like in real stunning, quick fashion, like crazy speed. Like it was good. But I also knew that he was crazily over leveraged. And I said, if this guy was smart, he would just sit still, because he's the highest next to Larry Williams. He was the second highest person in the futures division, Kevin Stufflebeam. He ended up winning with like 300 and some %, but he came down 1,000%. So I know he was drunk. Like, I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep, dude, you had it. Like, it was unlock. And that's all so what anybody needs to do is to simply get to that number 2 spot in the ranks and just sit there, and everybody will break themselves trying to get there. And that's what happens every single year. The whole leaderboard rotates in and out, in and out, in and out, because they're all trying to push hard, really hard, overly reaching for things that are not necessary, because 90% of the traders in there are going to do that same thing. So if the students that are listening to me that are going to go in there next year, let me hold it to the end. Okay, I want to close on a good note. So if you are only trading with 30% of your equity, you're removing the likelihood of blowing your account, because you're only trading with 30% of your money. And then you're doing what? You're doing your percentage risk per trade based on 30,000, not 100,000. Oh, this is bullshit. You can't make money with that. Bullshit. You can make money with any money. Stop thinking little money, can't make money. You just got to submit to time more. And there's nothing wrong with that. You want to be patient. Think about what you're feeling, that sense of impatience right now. You're all impatient. And I understand, I was impatient too. But you all are expecting unrealistic results in such an unrealistic time span. Like, you honestly believe that you're going to make $100,000 in 2 months of live trading with a funded account without any level of stress? The only way you're going to do that is over leveraging and taking nuts levels of leverage and risk. Why? Your whole business model should be, I want to be consistent, know that my trades will work more times than they fail. I will not be affected adversely, mentally or psychologically. When I take a losing trade, it means absolutely nothing. It's a tax. That's it. And when you adopt that mindset, you will not doubt the market condition that you're trading in, because if you're not fearful of losing money, or if you do take a loss, it's going to be so infantile, so insignificant, that it won't matter if you do take a loss. That means you're going to trade better. You'll be able to go in, trade, just like you probably feel when you're trading on a demo account, like one of the students I have. Phenomenal trader when it's demo. Like precision, crazy, nice, really good. Put him in a live account, short circuits. Because he's not from a country that has a lot of money, and money being taken from him, it's astronomical pressure. It's risk that he can't absorb it. He can't do it. And that's a byproduct of not doing this for a length of time, where you condition yourself to being bored with the results. When you make it so consistent, you're doing it in a position where you're not making real money or taking real losses, but you're bored with the process that you keep doing it over and over again, and it's consistent. Then when you creep into a small little account, the smallest account that you can start with, and you just dabble with it like that, and you build in a level of comfort of growing in equity, and you add a little bit more. After 3 months, put a little bit more money in. You ease into it. Not, I'm going to get funded and try to get $8,000 in funding and just go crazy. Do over leverage everything. And if I lose half the accounts, who gives a shit? Because I got 4 million leverage still. That's not doing it efficiently. That's dumb. You need to be consistent about what you're doing. And if you do these things, you will not be fearing losing. You can't blow your account because you're under leveraged on all your trades. You're under leveraged. See, you're all looking for 500 to 1 brokers. Hey, ICT, what broker do you have that would be a good broker for me? I'm in this country. I don't want to use this one since 500 to 1. 500 to 1? That's fucking stupid. Like, that's fucking dumb. That's nuts. That is literally worse than casino odds. Like, that's guaranteed you're losing your ass. That's the really real shit there, okay? Don't even think that you got to do that. If you can't make money with 10 to 1 odds or leverage, you can't trade. So you're all worried about being perfect and not losing money, when you should be worrying about risk and learning how to manage yourself. I literally, no fucking bones about it, I literally sat there in that account when I wasn't answering individual questions. I sat there and my son sat with me. I flipped my fucking coin and said, okay, here it is. If it lands on tails, I have to be a seller. If it lands on, the opposite, I got to be a buyer. And I have to do that. And I have to use money management to get out of all of it. That's what my TD Ameritrade account was. And it still beats the shit out of everybody else you see on YouTube. You see these people struggling on there. All right, so you know the results come from submitting to the process. Now, obviously you hear me talk about that throughout this entire presentation. You hear me also talk about it in other long drawn out dronings. But why losing is not something that could be viewed or should be viewed as failure. Individual incremental losses. You want to be encouraged? Go to my, I think I titled it First Year Result Expectations. Like, if you want to see what a new student, what their trading account is going to look like when they get out there and start really trying to push with real money, I honestly believe and I'm saying that would be a full year. Now, I condensed a lot of things and did a lot of things with my own experience, but to double your money, which is what you're supposed to be aiming for. If you go back to my original teachings in Baby Pips, when I was on that platform, I said that you should be aiming for 6% a month. If you do that, you'll make 100% return on your equity. That is a phenomenal rate of return. Do not let anybody tell you that that's not a good return. That's fucking sick. That's crazy returns. If you're consistently able to do that and you walk into a institution and say, look, here's my shit, here's my credentials, they'll put you through a little process, pat you on the back, and then they'll give you a chance. Not everybody, obviously, but if you are proving yourself like that and you got real accounts that you can do that shit, you will be acquired, because that's a skill set that most people can't do. And you got to do it with low risk. Low risk. How's that done? 30% of your equity, less than 2% risk, but very routine. And you can walk into money management, fund management, all those types of things. But you can't just say, hey, look, I went through ICT's mentorship and therefore I know smart money concepts and you people are going to pick me up. They're going to find me. They're going to find nothing. They're not going to find nothing. You got to come there with the receipts. And when you have them, you're going to stand out. And they're going to be real interested in what you're doing. And if they consider you, they'll give you a small test, a small threshold of here's what you can do. To see what you can do with this. And if you do well at that, then they'll allocate more. And then you could be in shit. I don't think most people can handle other people's money. That's a type of risk and stress that is outside the scope of this conversation. It's way beyond normal stress. Like, that's crazy amount of stress. But there's a lot of people that want to do it. And that's one approach where you can. But knowing that the process that I'm putting you through in your training is that you're not going to look at your losing trades as ultimate failure. Whereas when you do have a losing trade, think about what it feels like when you do it wrong. It feels like the whole world's crashing down and you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. You feel embarrassed. You're glad that nobody saw you lose that trade, because, and what would they think? What would they say? And what would your response be to what they say about you losing that trade? I told you so. That's a pipe dream. That shit don't work. SMC concepts are full of shit. Listen, if I can come up through all the bullshit that I did and find these patterns that are very, very, very consistent with my own family members and friends doubting me, telling me everything and every reason why it wouldn't ever materialize, you can do it. But you just got to stop putting all that weight on one transaction or one trading day or one trading week or one trading month.